If you're looking to set up a company in Dubai, you've probably encountered a sea of conflicting information online. Let me make this simple for you. I've personally helped over hundreds of UK business owners set up in Dubai, saving them anywhere from £30,000 to £500,000 in taxes. But here's what nobody tells you: it's not just about getting a license and calling it a day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step process to set up your company in Dubai, including the critical decisions most setup agents won't explain because they just want a quick commission. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which company structure is right for your business, how to set it up properly, and most importantly, how to make sure you're fully compliant within UAE regulations while maximizing your tax benefits. The biggest mistake I see entrepreneurs making when setting up in Dubai is jumping straight to choosing a free zone without first understanding their business activities. Here's why this matters. Your business activity determines everything: which free zones you can register in, what licenses you need, and most importantly, whether you'll be legally compliant when operating. I recently had a client who was advised by another consultant to register as a general trading company when they were actually providing digital marketing services. 6 months later, they couldn't open a bank account and had to start the entire process again, costing them an additional 30,000 AED. Let me show you how to avoid these expensive mistakes. Here's exactly how to choose the right business activities. First, write down all services and products your business will offer, not just now, but in the next 2 to 3 years. Second, limit yourself to just 1 to 3 core activities. Don't get tempted to add more just in case. This creates compliance headaches and can trigger additional approval requirements. Third, make sure your activities are consistent with each other. For example, don't mix professional services like consulting with trading activities unless absolutely necessary. Fourth, verify that your chosen activities are permitted in your preferred location. Not all free zones allow all activities. And finally, ensure your activity selection aligns with how you'll actually make money. This sounds obvious, but I've seen countless businesses register for activities they never use whilst missing the ones they actually do need. By selecting the right activities from the start, you'll avoid costly amendments later and ensure a smooth banking process and compliance. Now that you've identified your business activities, you're faced with the most crucial decision. Should you set up in a free zone or on the mainland? Most consultants will push you towards free zones because they're easier to sell, but this could be a massive mistake depending on your business. I had a client who set up in a free zone because it was 15,000 dirhams cheaper than mainland, only to discover they couldn't legally serve their UAE based clients directly. They ended up paying double to set up a mainland company 6 months later. Let me break down the critical differences between free zone and mainland companies and help you decide which is right for your specific situation. Here's how to decide between free zone and mainland. Choose a free zone company if most of your clients are outside the UAE or in other free zone, or if you don't need a physical retail presence in the UAE, or you want 100% foreign ownership, though this is now possible in mainland too, or you prefer a simple setup process with fewer approvals and you want predictable renewal fees. Choose a mainland company if your business plans to do business directly with UAE government entities, or if you need multiple physical branches across the UAE, or if you want to sell products directly to UAE retailers or consumers without restrictions. You need specific local licenses only available on mainland, or your business requires regular visa runs for staff across different emirates. The tax benefits are identical for both options: 0% personal income tax and 9% corporation tax above the threshold. Don't let anyone tell you one has better tax advantages than the other. Importantly, don't just focus on the initial setup cost. A mainland license might cost 10 to 15,000 AED more initially. It could save you more from paying an agent 5 to 10% on every mainland transaction if you incorrectly choose a free zone. If you've decided a free zone is right for your business, the next question is, which of the 40 plus free zones should you choose? Most agents will push you towards the free zone where they get the highest commission and not the one that's best for your business. I had a client who was recommended IFSA by their consultant. 3 months after their setup, they discovered that this free zone doesn't allow them to process work permits for their employees from certain countries, and that is a critical requirement for their business. They wasted over 25,000 dirhams switching to another free zone. Let me show you how to choose the right free zone based on your specific needs, not what maximizes an agent's commission. Here's my framework for selecting the right free zone. First, consider industry alignment. Some free zones specialize in specific sectors. Dubai Internet City for technology, DMCC for trading and commodities, Dubai Healthcare City for medical services, DAFSA for logistics and import and export. Second, evaluate visa allocation. Free zones differ dramatically in how many visas they allow per license and office space. Some offer 1 to 2 visas with a basic package. Others allow up to 6 to 8 with the same setup. Some require physical office space for additional visa. Others allow virtual offices with multiple visas. Third, Consider banking preferences. If banking is critical, prioritize established free zones with strong banking relationships. DIFC, DMCC, DAFSA, Maidan, Ajman Free Zone, they all have excellent banking relationships. Newer free zones might offer cheaper setup but create banking headaches. Finally, consider your long-term costs, not just your setup fees. Compare renewal costs, not just first-year prices. Look at visa processing fees. Check hidden costs like service fees or mandatory insurance. Based on my experience with my hundreds of clients, here are my top recommendations. For trading, DMCC or JAFSA. For consulting, Maidan, Ajman Free Zone, SPC. For technology, Dubai Internet City. For cost-sensitive, again, SPC, but Ajman Free Zone is probably the best one. Now that you've chosen your free zone or mainland option, let's dive into what nobody else tells you about the actual setup process and documentation. Most agents just give you a bulleted list of documents without explaining the nuances that can make or break your application. I had a client recently whose application was rejected 3 times because they provided a utility bill with a PO box address instead of a physical address for their UK proof of address. Their previous consultant never explained this requirement, costing them weeks of delays. Let me walk through exactly what documentation you'll need and the typical timeline so you can plan your business launch properly. Here's exactly what documentation you'll need and how to prepare it correctly. For individual shareholders, we'd need a passport copy, and if you've come to the UAE before, we'd need the passport number and the expiry date of the passport you came into the UAE with. We need residential proof of address, whether that's a utility bill, bank statements, something that's within the last 3 months. Sometimes some free zones or banks might even need your CV or your resume just so they can see that your business activity matches your qualification or your experience. For corporate shareholders, it's a bit more complex. We need your certificate of incorporation, your memorandum and articles of association. But if you've got a company in the UK, all of that is readily available on Companies House. So what we will need is a shareholders resolution that you will need to notarize in the UK and post it out to us or bring it with yourself. That is very important for a company that has a corporate shareholder. The typical timeline looks like this. We can get your company set up within 48 hours, and then you decide to tell us when you're arriving to the UAE for your visa and your residency process. So the initial approval will only take 48 hours, and you'll have your business trade license, your certificate of formation, your lease, and your memorandum of association. After that, we'd have to apply for an entry permit, and this takes 2 to 3 days, or maybe even up to a week for approval. Once that's approved, you're able to come into the UAE on your new entry permit, and you will need to get that stamped by immigration. Once that's stamped by immigration, you come out, you collect your baggage, and you check into your hotel. I'd say that getting a SIM card at the airport is probably important, but you'll only be able to get a SIM card on your tourist passport at that moment in time, and it'll only be valid for 28 days. But once you get your Emirates ID, we'd look to convert your tourist SIM card to a residency SIM card, because SIM cards are absolutely huge in the UAE. Everything comes to your phone. Your one-time passcodes come to your phone. Access to your Emirates ID, your UAE pass, everything's on your phone. When someone wants to deliver something to you, they will ask you for your location via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is significant in a person's life here in the UAE. Once you've checked into your hotel, we will send you your details about your appointments. You'll have 2 appointments in the UAE, a medical and your biometrics. On our VIP package, we tend to do them either on the same day or 1 day apart. On our normal package, it'll probably be between 3 and 5 days apart. So in our VIP package, a member of our team will come collect you, take you to your medical. Your medical consists of a blood test and a chest x-ray, and you generally get your results back within 15 minutes on the VIP package, and it's looking for HIV, tuberculosis. Once we've got the fit status, we're able to book your biometrics and apply for your Emirates ID. Once your biometrics is done, generally your Emirates ID is issued to you within 3 to 5 working days for you to receive your physical Emirates ID. You will receive your digital Emirates ID beforehand. Once you have your physical Emirates ID, we are able to open a bank account for you, and this generally we get approvals within 1 to 3 days, and your bank card will come a couple of days later. What's very important to know, you have to be present to collect your bank card, because when they come to deliver your bank card, you will have to provide them with your Emirates ID. They will scan your Emirates ID and ask you to do a biometric, and once that is successful, they'll hand over your bank card to you then. Perhaps the most challenging part of setting up a UAE company isn't getting your license, it's opening a bank account. This is where most businesses face unexpected roadblocks, and it's why many setup agents avoid discussing banking in detail until after you've paid for your license. I had a client who waited for 4 months for bank account approval because they weren't properly prepared for the bank bank's due diligence questions. Their business was legitimate, but they couldn't clearly explain the source of funds or expected transaction patterns. Let me share my proven banking strategy that helped 90% of our clients open accounts within 4 weeks, including specific banks to target based on your business model. Remember, banking is ultimately about trust. The more transparent and prepared you are, the higher your chances of swift approval. Getting your license and bank account is just the beginning of your UAE business journey. Many entrepreneurs focus entirely on setup while ignoring the ongoing compliance requirements. This is a critical mistake that could lead to fines, licensing issues, or even forced company closure. Just last month, the business owner came to me in panic after receiving a 50,000 dirham fine. They hadn't filed their economic substance regulation notification on time because their previous agent never explained this requirement. Let me walk through the essential compliance calendar for your UAE business so you never face unexpected penalties or disruptions. Remember, we're with you the whole journey. Here's your essential compliance calendar for a UAE business. Your monthly requirements tend to be VAT returns if you're registered, your WPS salary processing if you have employees, updating accounting records. Quarterly requirements are VAT returns for some larger businesses, custom declarations for importing or exporting businesses. Your annual requirements: trade license renewal at least 30 days before expiry, establishment card renewal, visa renewals, ESR notification within 6 months of financial year end, ESR report if applicable, corporate tax returns, which is a new requirement from 2024, financial statement preparation, critical deadlines to never miss, your license renewal. You will accumulate daily late fees. Your ESR notification within 6 months of your financial year end. Your VAT returns 28th of the month following the tax period. Your corporate tax return 9 months after your financial year end. A pro tip: set up a compliance calendar with 30-day advance reminders for all deadlines. The cost of compliance is always lower than the cost of penalties and business disruption. With us, we keep on top of all of that for you. With UAE corporate tax now coming into effect, tax planning has become essential for every UAE business. Most setup agents aren't just qualified accountants, and they don't understand how to structure your business for tax efficiency. This new 9% corporate tax has created confusion and opportunity in equal measure. I recently worked with a client who was about to set up a single company structure, and that would have unnecessarily exposed all their profits to corporate tax. By implementing a simple multi-company structure, we legally protected a significant portion of their income from taxation. Let me show you the key tax planning strategies that can minimize your UAE corporate tax liability while remaining fully compliant within the law. Here are the key corporate tax planning strategies to implement. First, understand the fundamental. 9% corporate tax above profits of 375,000 AED. 0% rate for qualifying free zone companies, and that is very specific conditions. Most people won't meet that. No tax on personal income, dividends, capital gains. And the second, consider these structural tax strategies. Free zone tax benefits. Some free zone companies can qualify for 0% tax on qualifying income if they maintain adequate substance and proper documentation. Business segmentation. Separate high margin and low margin business lines into different entities. Transfer pricing. Ensure all related party transactions are at arm's length and properly documented. Substance requirements. Maintain an adequate physical presence, staff, and decision making in the UAE. It is so important that you avoid these common tax mistakes. Using UAE shell companies without substance, that's a no-go. Failing to document related party transactions, a no-go. Missing registration and filing deadlines, you will get large penalties. Commingling personal and business expenses. Remember, tax planning must be done before you set up your structure. Changing your structure later is much more expensive and complex. Setting up a company in Dubai offers incredible opportunities from a business perspective, from a tax perspective, and you access a new market which is very receptive. As you've seen throughout the video, the difference between a proper setup and a not a proper setup is costly mistakes. It all comes down to working with qualified professionals who understand the nuances of UAE company formation, accounting, and tax planning. At Evolve Tax, we specialize in helping UK business owners establish in the UAE tax efficiently, whilst ensuring they are fully compliant to the UAE tax regulations. Unlike setup agents who focus only on selling you a license, we take a comprehensive approach covering structure, compliance, and tax planning. And if you're serious about setting up in Dubai, book a free 30-minute consultation through the link in the description. We'll analyze your specific business needs and provide a customized, tailored roadmap for your UAE expansion. Don't leave your business future to chance. Make informed decisions from the start and you'll enjoy all the benefits Dubai has to offer without the costly pitfalls. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to helping you evolve your business in the UAE.